Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. In this video, I'm going to do a grade of every single Premier League team. Now, I'm going to make a video in the future reacting to my personal Premier League predictions, and in that video, I'm going to go into a little bit more depth into each team. But for this video, I'm just going to be doing quick grades, and here's what I think. If you enjoy the video, please like, comment and subscribe. And if your team is mentioned, leave your grade in the comments below or your thoughts on the Premier League season. So let's kick things off with Norwich. F. The fact that they've been relegated is almost likely an F, but it's the manner in which they've been relegated has been really poor. So for me, they have to be an F. Same reason with Watford. And, you know, it's hard for a newly promoted side to stay up in the Premier League, but it's in the manner of which both Norwich and Watford have been relegated, almost accepting relegation with around about 8-7 games to go. It's been really poor seasons for both these clubs. For Burnley, I'd give them an E just because their budget is really, really low anyway, and their squads, with their squad they have, such a small squad as well, they've done a phenomenal job at maintaining Premier League status season after season, and they only just got relegated, but it's still been a really poor season, so I'd give them an E. For Leeds, I'd give them an E as well, just because it's been a really difficult season for them. Last season they finished 9th, so they would have expected to be maybe lower because that was such a high finish, but not this low, not 17th. So I'd give them an E. For Everton, I'd give them an E as well. The amount of money they've spent is ridiculous, and the fact they only just stayed up with a couple of games to go shows how shambolic they've been, so I'd give them an E. Southampton, D-. Start the season very well, and then it was all going fine right up until the end of February, and then since March, they've arguably been one of the worst. They have, actually not arguably, for me, they've been the third worst team in the league, apart from Norwich and Watford. So Southampton have had a really bad season in that sense. They've still got some decent highlights. James Ward-Prowse, Carl Walker-Peters, Livramento. But yeah, it's a D-. It has to be D, round a D, and I'm giving it a D- for Southampton. For Villa, I'd give them a D. For a grade, Steven Gerrard came in after Dean Smith. Decent impact initially, but then since then, they've been average to below average. The key thing for them is they need to beat teams in the top half, so I'd give Villa a D. Brentford, A*. The fact that they've got one of the lowest budgets in the league, and I think the lowest wage as well. Thomas Frank, rightly so, up for manager of the season. Brentford, definitely A*. Palace, A-. A lot of people thought that Patrick Vieira would be the first manager to be sacked. So the fact that Palace have finished so high in the table shows the great job he's done. So I'd give them an A-. I'd give Newcastle a B. First half of the season, an F. Second half of the season, A*. So B, B-. That's what I'd give Newcastle. They've got a really good future in their hands with the new owners and Eddie Howe. Yeah, I'd give them a B. For Wolves, I'd give them a C grade, just because I think Wolves fans would have expected a little bit more, and recent weeks it's been really poor, really boring to watch. For the first 20-odd games, their form was Champions League form. Last few games, it's been relegation form. Similar to Newcastle, but flipped. So for Wolves, I'd give them a C, and I do worry about them next season. For Brighton, A*. The football they play, the players they've developed, the new young players they've developed, academy graduates or signings such as Caicedo and Cucurella. Yeah, Brighton are phenomenal. They've been a brilliant. A* for them, for sure. Leicester, I think Leicester is the hardest season to analyse. Yes, they finished 8th. Yes, they won the Community Shield. And yes, they've been brilliant in Europe. I'm just torn because their style of football hasn't been great at times. They've had some really shocking defeats in there as well. So I'm not sure about Leicester. I'll probably talk a lot more in depth about Leicester in another video. But for now, I'm going to say they're B-. West Ham, A*. I know this is all Premier League, but you can't deny the European run they've been on and how that would have impacted their Premier League form. And it hasn't really. Yes, they tailed off at the end, but for so long in the season, they were competing for a Champions League spot. With the squad they have, the fact that Antonio is their main striker, West Ham, they've had a great season, and their fans can be proud of this team. It's a proper West Ham team. They've got to be an A*. Man United, F. pretty easy to explain. Sacking Ollie, going from second last season, finishing above Liverpool, to now 7th, shambles off the pitch. F in the chat, boys, for Man United, for sure. Arsenal, I'd give them the C grade. If you offered them 5th, Arsenal fans maybe wouldn't have taken it, but they wouldn't have been too disappointed. But it's the manner of which they've come and finished 5th. Being in the top 4 for so long, being in their hands, and then in the last few games, losing to the North London derby, then losing away to Newcastle to lose 4th right at the end. C. Or if anything, maybe C-. Spurs, I'd give them a B grade. They started really badly with Nuno as manager. Tottenham quickly sacked him, then decided to go back to the original first choice in the summer, Antonio Conte. It did feel like Nuno was always just a temporary manager, given the fact that he was appointed so late into the season and the fact he was only given a 2-year contract. So Tottenham needed a good manager to be hired in response to Nuno. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Nuno's a really good manager. It just didn't work out at Tottenham. Maybe it was too big of a club too soon for him. I would like to see Nuno again in the Premier League. It just didn't work out. Antonio Conte, it's evolved in time that he's actually been an excellent appointment as Spurs manager. The key signings were in January, though. The fact that they upgraded in January in Bentancur and Kuvalevski and Arsenal didn't was crucial, and it allowed them to get over the line and finish 4th. So I'd give Spurs a B. Chelsea, I'd give them a B+ grade. They had a lot of uncertainty off the pitch with the owner issues since March and February. And actually their net spend is minus 10 to 15 million pounds. So they're actually at a negative net spend, and yet they finished 3rd. They've had great moments in the season, although there's going to be some uncertainty next season with the likes of Rudiger leaving, potentially Azpilicueta, potentially Thiago Silva, and even Christensen as well. However, with new owners, they'll probably invest in the squad, but it might take them a couple of seasons for Chelsea to really push for the league next season. And there's also still kind of doubts about Tuchel's capability as manager, and that sounds very harsh, but at Chelsea, there's a lot of high expectations. Although, that might change now as Roman Abramovich has left. Maybe Chelsea managers will be given more time than previously. And that's not a bash at Chelsea as a football club. I'm just saying, maybe the American owners like to give managers plenty of time. Who knows how they'll treat Thomas Tuchel? We'll have to wait and see. Then for Liverpool and Man City, they both have to be A-stars, both competing right at the top of the table. Phenomenal seasons, phenomenal teams. And people might say it would be very easy for Pep to manage the group because they've spent so much money. But you've actually got to go out there and coach the players and perform at the levels that Man City have. And they're just so relentless on Man City. They won the league as well, fair play to them. But for Liverpool, they have to be A-star as well. The fact they were able to keep up with Man City for so long in the season, and at one point they were 14 points behind, but managed to claw that back just to 1 point. Liverpool and Klopp deserve so much respect. And of course, they could do the cup treble, winning on penalties against Chelsea in both the League Cup final and the FA Cup final. And then they've got the Champions League final to look forward to. And in my opinion, I think they'll win that. So yeah, Liverpool and Man City, both A-stars. So that's my quick grade review of all the Premier League teams. I'm going to do a video coming up where I react to my predictions. And in that video, I'm going to go into more depth in each team. But I hope you enjoyed that quick review of each Premier League team in this season. Please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you all later. Thank you.